And welcome into the Seth Justice Show. And really do appreciate you hopping in because there is some news, and that's me, my face. And yeah, so I just got a brand new laptop and a brand new setup, and I get to do this from my bed, which is absolutely perfect. And now I don't have to do anything. I can just stay here and never leave my bed, which is well, making me a very happy person, though there is a little bit of sound issues. Um, at least some, I don't know, echo, I guess. I have to figure that out. Anyway, but thank you so much for being a part of this. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow at Justice underscore radio on Instagram and TikTok, and the Seth Justice Show on YouTube and Spotify. So, again, thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. Like I said, brand new laptop, brand new setup, and we get to hang out with one another for the usual 30 minutes or so that we hang out with one another for. All right. So, again, thank you so much. And I think with this show, we're going to do kind of a little bit different of a feel. I think we're going to do a little bit more of a year in review kind of deal. And then also kind of talk about a couple things that I wanted to talk about. Mainly, let's talk about a little bit of a harsher topic. Uh, let's talk about Carl Reiner. Carl. Rob Reiner. Terrible of me. Rob Reiner, who is one of the premier directors, or at least was before his passing. And well, yeah, like I already kind of alluded to, he passed. So he and his wife, as you already know, um, were unfortunately no longer with us, and all signs kind of point to his son Nick, uh, and it's alleged at this point. So, you know, at least say that. But kind of all signs are pointing to Nick being the guy. Here's the thing, though, and I think it's a pretty big indication of kind of who we are as people, because I think a lot of people are like, "Oh my goodness, there have been so many more tragedies that we are looking at and being a part of, and da 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 da." And it's unprecedented. And I don't think it's unprecedented. I just think, again, like with social media, we know things a whole heck of a lot more than what we did previously. This is all brand new stuff from the technology side, not from the history side. If you go back 300 years, I mean, could you imagine the warring states in China or Japan, um, or like Russia and everything like that? If we heard all the stories that we do now, like we know all the news from the United States, from England, UK, Russia, Japan. We hear stories from North Korea. We hear stories from all over the map. And you just like take a little dart, go to a certain place, and boom, you know the stories, what's happening in like the Middle East, everywhere. And so it's not necessarily, you know, that that there's more going on. It's more that we know about it. And maybe that's the curse of social media and knowledge, that we know what's going on, and so now we have to do something and act. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. However, what I think is a bad thing is essentially taking something that was a horrible, awful thing and attributing it to other people. Just because one group of people does something so insanely bad, or for example, like drug addicts. Not all drug addicts are terrible, awful human beings. They just have been dealt a bad hand. And most of them aren't going to do what, Nick Reiner did. Some may, most won't. It's more of an internal thing. And, this also kind of goes to the Tyler Chase situation that's going on right now, where, a co star, he was on Ned's Declassified, a Nickelodeon show back in the day. And if you didn't know that, there you go. But he's battling drugs right now, and some people are trying to help him. And his co-star got him a hotel room, and Tyler destroyed it. He destroyed it. Now, I think that's a more indication of him trying to destroy the inside part of himself that he doesn't like, and I can philosophize, be philosophical about that, I guess, if you want, or it's just he felt like destroying stuff, and so he did. But when it comes to Nick Reiner, he comes from a family that, yes, is very well known in Hollywood and is very well liked in Hollywood. And I mean, there hasn't been a single person that has said something negative about Rob Reiner right now and his wife. And I mean, they were just loved. And from every story that you hear, that's kind of that love was for Nick. I mean, ever since he was 14 years old, he was having a drug issue. And what his parents didn't cast him aside. They kept on, trying to get him to help him and get him to a place that he can be happy. And honestly, yeah, that's most parents in those situations, which I'm very glad of my parents and how loving they are towards me and helpful and everything like that. Um, so it gives me a moment to say that. But the main thing here is I think when it comes to Nick Reiner and Rob Reiner and his wife, we got to remember Nick was also schizophrenic, schizophrenic. Yes, he did have his meds messed around with a little bit to help him out. He was also a drug addict, but a troubled person that we shouldn't, you know, lop off from society. Yes, is it absolutely terrible what he did? Absolutely. I don't think anybody disagrees with that sentiment. It was absolutely terrible. But let's take the lead from Rob Reiner and try and show love. And that's what I think we need to do more of, and not necessarily in a reactionary sense that we're doing, but more of a just overall kind of deal of showing love to people who really need it. And sometimes that love is going to bite you and bite you hard. And again, it's not about getting bit. It's about just being that person to show love. So that's what I hope for in 2026. That we can show love and be the type of people that we hope we hope to be. Um, and I don't know, and especially with the Tyler Chase situation, I think when it comes to him, I mean, he has people that are willing to help him out too. I think the people we need to worry about are the ones who aren't getting that help. So let's hope that we can be there for a person in need if we can. So I think that's one takeaway from this. Let's also realize that yes, there is a lot of pain and suffering and awfulness in this world. And there is a lot of hurt feelings because of, you know, my family did this or this happened to me. And some of that stuff is horribly traumatic and is awful. But let's not forget that this world is beautiful because we are allowed to progress. We are allowed to learn. We are allowed to grow and just be the people that we want to be. We don't have to be the same person that we are each and every single day. We can be a little bit better of a person. We can be a little bit worse of a person. We can be somewhere in between. There's nuance to this world. So, in the case of Rob Reiner, Nick Reiner, and their entire family, it's one of those moments where, yes, we see the tragedy. Yes, we see the pain. Yes, we see the awfulness that is going on that happened to their family. And yes, are we seeing a lot more of the stuff going on here today? Absolutely. But terrible things have been happening over the entirety of human history. And one thing that has always prevailed over everything is the love in our hearts and the ability to progress through. I think that's the most important thing that we need to take with us and to learn and to just do better from. So, on that note, let's move on because 10 minutes of sad. And now we need to go to sometime on 2025, which was a very interesting year. So, for me, this was my second full year in Albany, New York. It had some highs, had some lows. Not too many lows though. I think it was a very good year. Um, I think I finally got through some stuff in my head. I think I finally got through what I truly want and what I truly feel like I deserve. I feel like I'm in a you know, freaking out or anything like that or doing anything, you know, of a mistake in my mind. I'm not being so much of a perfectionist. I'm not, being whatever. But I feel like now I have the direction of where I want to go and where I want to be and who I want to be around and the person I want to be. So I think that's a very good thing and a very positive thing. And I'm very happy with that. Plus, this is the first podcast, right? That I said that is like a catalyst for the rest of them, where it is now a visual podcast. And for me, I'm gonna take a lot of joy and a lot of happiness out of doing that, where I can actually showcase more and do more, and this be kind of the lifting off point to that. So I'm very excited about that. However, there were some of the pop culture world that there was some not so good things from, and some really good things. I mean, let's be honest here. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey, their engagement took the world by storm, the entire world, because Taylor Swift is such a huge, huge, huge person inside this world, um, and people absolutely love her, and that kinda stole the show, to be honest, and that stole the show from Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco getting married, which I don't think, you know, Taylor, Travis, or Selena or Benny were just like, "Oh, no, you took my spotlight." No, I don't think any of that. Sydney Sweeney, she had a pretty big breakup. Um, and then, the Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner love. I mean, there was a lot of love celebrity-wise. Not so much. Brad and Angelina officially divorced. And then Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez divorced, and there was a lot of things going on with that. But they seem to be in a very good spot and good place, and they're talking to one another, and I actually spent the holidays together, so that's pretty cool. Then you have moments where you have the astronomer CEO, who I don't understand why this is the case, and I don't understand why cheaters do this, but is what it is. Anyway, um, you have the astronomer CEO go to a Coldplay concert with his mistress and get caught on the kiss cam. Like, caught. And we all know this. We've heard the story and everything like that. But it's just like, I don't understand why people just don't go up to their significant others. And I don't know if it's been 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, or, 2 months or a month. It doesn't matter the in between of whatever's going on. Like, if you're not feeling the relationship, I feel like we in this world now know that yes, sometimes a relationship doesn't work. Sometimes it's not great. Sometimes it's not what it's supposed to be. And sometimes people just grow apart. And we should end that relationship because honestly, if you get caught at a Coldplay concert with your mistress and get caught on the kiss cam cheating, it's going to be 10 times worse than that conversation that happens between you and your significant other. So, might be a good idea just to end it before you get to the kiss cam. Just a thought there. There was also the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime performance, which was kind of like you know, a or what is it, coup d'etat? No, that's not it. The pizza resistant, I guess. I don't know. With the whole Kendrick Drake beef, had Serena Williams in it. It was very massive, even though people are now saying, "Oh, but what about the Christmas halftime show? That was way better with Snoop Dogg, Lainey Wilson, a bunch of other people." Yeah, that's here's the thing though. I get what you're saying, and I can see that. But here's the thing. The NFL is the one making the money, right? In this situation. So regardless, they're the winners. So does it really matter which one's better and which one's worse? No, because the same person is making money. They just like that conversation to keep going. So that's what they want to have happen. So that's what's gonna happen. So there you go. Um, and then we also had the huge K-pop Demon Hunters deal going on with I mean just a movie that one I haven't seen it so I don't know. But I because I'm in pop radio, I hear all the time Golden, the song, is absolutely massive, and it is a song that is just, again, massively massive, so I hear that all the time, but to read the stories and see that, "Oh, hey, by the way, this was not supposed to be huge," is really really cool to see in 2025, that we something that came from literally nothing and became something. I mean, that right there is really cool. Um We had the Love Island drama with Huda saying, "I'm a mom. I'm a mommy." Like this reality TV portion of the year was just wild to me because I mean, some of the drama wasn't even actually drama, it's just people's lives and it's just like that's what we're getting started on and that's what we're like, "Oh my goodness, you're your mom." It's like if you're dating in your 30s right now, you know pretty much every other person you're trying to date is a parent. I mean, that's just the case. So, I mean, is it a big deal? No. Are people making it a huge deal? Yes, and especially at the time, they made it a huge deal. Now, is she not a great person? The show kind of led you to believe one thing. People's words lead you to believe one thing. I guess we'll see. Um, but what isn't a we'll see is the Labubu thing. Because here's the thing, right? We have these Labubus, which if you've never seen a Labubu, you are a day late and a dollar short there, bub. But this Labubu craze is absolutely fascinating to me because these little things look so ugly and gross and disgusting. It's like I feel like we are just one song away from the Labubus waking up and being like, "Oh, it's time to take over the world." And then they're trying to take over the world, and then we finally move past everything, and we're just like, "All right, we're gonna build AI because this is gonna be what's gonna be our saviors and protectors." And then it's gonna be Labubus who have been brought up to the demons side of things, and then have AI be our protectors, and then eventually AI is gonna be like, No, humans, you have wasted your time, and then it's humans versus AI versus Labubus. I mean, it sounds like a great movie. And in fact, if you're trying to steal that movie from me, I just ask that you just, cast me in it. That'd be great. And I appreciate that. Um because I mean, just the wildness of AI has gone crazy. The Labubu madness and trends and everything from the dances to John Hamm right now. The Jet 2 holiday was a huge thing this year. The trends, the AI things like the Sora, that was huge. The AI videos and everything that are depicting like celebrities who have passed away. Also things that couldn't happen or haven't happened actually, becoming I don't wanna say reality, but becoming videos. I mean, that aspect of life is just so wild, and so, for me, looking forward to 2026 and seeing all these things and seeing the Labubu craze, even though I know they're not gonna be, demon spawn coming up. They may be. We don't know, alright? We don't know what 2026 has, but AI is definitely gonna get more advanced. The trends are gonna be a lot different. We had the we had what is it? The business guide to the Jet 2 holiday to the John Hamm dance, which I did. It's on my Instagram and TikTok at justice_radio. Shameless plug. Anyway, um, but here's the thing: we're looking at trends and looking at what's going to happen in 2026. I honestly don't even know. And then, kind of going back to what we were talking about previously with the Rob Reiner, Nick Reiner situation, and that's kind of yeah, that's not a good way to put it. Um, but I mean, just looking forward to what is to come, I think is a very interesting experience, or project to see what's going to happen because I don't know. But here's the thing: I think what we can take from Rob Reiner, Nick Reiner, all the trends that have happened, AI, everything like that, the importance of the individual, I think, is even more heightened. But I don't think I think we everything is nuanced, right? So I think that we can be selfish. We can be, our normal selves, but I also think we need to love and understand that yes, there are people here on this earth. Yes, there are going to be terrible things to happen, but we shouldn't be reactionary. What we should do is take action to help those people, to help people in general, because we need each other on our sides. We need to be there for people. We need to, you know, be around because if there is a Labubu versus open AI, we'll say, and humans, we're going to be all we have. And you know what? It's an interesting time, but this is definitely a time of transition. This is definitely a time where things are going in such a weird, different way that this year, this end of the year feels like a different kind of feel, mainly because we have so much that could be happening. And I don't know what kind of trends they are going to be in 2026. I don't know if AI is going to take 3 steps back or 10 steps back. I don't know if we're going to go to if TikTok dances are still going to be a thing. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what to expect. And I think that's the beauty of life right there is that when we think we know the answer to something, we're often wrong. But if we're open to the possibilities of what could happen, I think that's going to help us out so ginormously well in the future. And just be open to what could be and how we could help each other in ways that we couldn't even imagine. And even then, you could, have a kid on the way. You could have a relationship that pops off and you're just like, "Oh my goodness, I have found my person." Or it could be a brand new job, or it could be any number of things. But being open and ready and willing to, you know, I don't know, like just be happy and or just to see what the possibilities are. I mean that's a pretty good gift. But also, right? It could be a negative. I mean, with positives comes negatives. It may not always be the best ending, but it's a story. And always stories have some ups, some downs, some middles. And even in this, like, right, 2026 is a terrible year for you. You still have 2027. You still have 2028. Now, I don't I don't want you to have back-to-back bad years, but I do think that we have an opportunity here, a chance here to have a different mindset. And I also think we have like a chance to understand that we have the perfect opportunity to answer a question. And that question is what are we meant to do? Who are we meant to be? As a society, how can we grow? Because obviously, government wise, whether you're on the right, left, in between, doesn't really matter. Doofuses want power and that stuff that kind of go into a way that they try and make. decisions for the greater number of people, which most times they're doofuses and don't actually know, and they just want the clout and everything like that. And I think we're starting to understand that about our politics. But I think when it comes to the question that I said is like, who do we want to be? What do we want to be? Who do we want to be around? What could we do next? What is next? That question is so open-ended. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's happening. We don't know who we're gonna be, what we're gonna be, how we're gonna do it. We don't know, and that's the beauty of it. I think that's what we need to keep into our minds and understand that, yes, there are things we do not understand. Yes, there are tragedies that happen, excuse me, tragedies in this world that happen, and yet we still have the opportunity to love, move forward, learn, and progress. And I think that is a beautiful thing that we should remind ourselves each and every single day. Because, yes, there are some days that are going to be terrible, terrible, but you have a chance to be great. And you can be like Rob Reiner and show love each and every single day. And sometimes it's going to bite you in ways you never knew. But he still showed love. And I think he's a better person than most. He allowed himself to love, which in most cases some people wouldn't. I don't know if I could, but then again, I'm not a parent. And 2025, it was for some a very rough year. It was very hard. But 2026 is going to be an opportunity for us to answer some questions about ourselves. And for me in 2025, I answered a lot, but I still have more questions. I still want to know more about me and how I can be the best me that I can be. And I cannot wait until I answer those questions. And I cannot wait to do this all again in the new year. So thank you so much for listening. This has been the Sad Justice Show. Remember, like, subscribe, follow at justice_radio on Instagram and X and on TikTok, and also the Seth Justice Show on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great and happy new year, and I'll talk to you later. All right. Peace.